Now that preparation has concluded, 10 thoughts from the week leading up to the Texans matchup against the Chargers, the 10 biggest storylines, what the vibes were like today, and a lot more. Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways.
High-grade marijuana called
if it's
Kush
up,
on
then
the
it's up,
street.
we number one. You don't need to try your luck.
All right, it is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. What a football game we just witnessed. Notre Dame versus Ohio State. That's why we're getting, or not Notre Dame. Damn, did I already put Ohio State in the national championship? Is my confidence that low? I don't know. Maybe so. But Notre Dame versus Penn State, the winner will play the winner of Texas versus Ohio State. And the winner was Notre Dame. Actually had some fun in the Texans locker room today. So was sitting off to the side with Jonah Hill and McLovin, a.k.a. Cody Stutes and Will Kunkel. And Cade Stover walked by. He was rocking an orange sweater. It looked almost burnt orange. Now, that's a pretty common farmer color, the brownish orangish. But I took it upon myself to tell Cade Stover, I see you, man. You're with us tomorrow. You know the Horns are going to win. That's the confidence I like to see. Cade Stover wearing his cowboy boots and that white tee that he always likes to rock underneath the orange hoodie. He looked back and he said, you guys know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, right? I said, yeah, I think y'all could big body the Horns for sure. I think you could. I was like, but your boy's not out coaching them. He just kind of rolled his eyes a little bit. He said, yeah, we're going to take care of business. Someone that's a Michigan man that works at with the Texans said, but y'all didn't beat Michigan. He kind of rolled his eyes. You could tell, kind of took the life out of him. And then I said, well, the one thing we can agree on is that this is for the championship. And it's pretty much smooth sailing after this, to which Blake Fisher said, hold on a second. Because it was right by Blake Fisher's locker. He said, hold on a second. I said, yeah, that's a bye. He said, bye. I said, nah, maybe Freeman can outcoach Sark. He said, can't. I said, can. So little college football smack going on. And I think it's very appropriate as the Texans conclude their preparation for the Chargers. They will be off tomorrow. We got this awesome college football game. We got rain and freeze going on right now. And then tomorrow, we're going to have SNL with myself and Cody Stooch, which you should subscribe to. Number one podcast for the Texans. Growing YouTube channel, 2,000 in less than a month. Shout out to everyone who's joined those two communities, the merging communities, the collaboration. But we're going to have Texas versus Ohio State. We think. We'll see what happens with the weather. Maybe it gets moved to Saturday, but I think they're going to get it off tomorrow. We'll see what happens. And then we're going to have some playoffs. A little bit of playoff action with the Houston Texans doing what they got to do.
We in here talking about practice.
Not tomorrow. No practice tomorrow. So that's where we're at. Good times, fun times, and an interesting game with the Texans, which brings me to the 10 things that have stuck out the most this week during the playoff preparation. Number one is the lack of respect that the Texans get. And this isn't one of those rally cries where it's like, oh, nobody's respecting the Texans. I've watched every play of this team. I don't have a lot of respect or confidence in this team going out there and playing a complete football game in the playoffs. Would I be shocked? No. But I understand why the Chargers are favored. I understand not just based on this year, but based on the complete franchise-long body of work that people don't expect the Texans to make a lot of noise. So I understand it. Rex Ryan said the Texans are basically a bye week for the Chargers. D'Amico Ryans claims that that's not something that has gone into the Texans locker room. I would say that's not true. I would say there's pretty strong evidence to the contrary. I think it's there. Heard someone today saying we basically have to apologize for getting into the playoffs, for making the playoffs. We basically got to apologize. If the Texans were going to wake up during the slump that they were in, there's a couple of things that could cause that to happen. Number one, the Aziz suspension. That could cause some sort of flip switch. Number two, this lack of respect. Three-point line still. Going to be interesting. But that has been a very, 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 very interesting storyline. And it does seem to be something that the Texans have made note of. Thought number two. This is a healthy front seven for the first time for D'Amico Ryans. That's his level of expertise. We've seen D'Amico Ryans do a hell of a job with the D-line. We've seen him do a hell of a job with the linebackers, despite the fact he hasn't had them at full strength this year. Now, there are key injuries for every team in the NFL. Texans have some injuries of their own. But as far as that front seven, this is the healthiest that the front seven has been. This is the first time that you really get to see 0 and 48 on the field at the same time. And this is a team where traditional three linebacker sets could likely be more effective. Now, once you get into situations where you're facing the Chiefs and they have Kelsey and they have Hollywood Brown kind of finding his form at this point, and Xavier Worthy and DeAndre Hopkins, if you win this game, that's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be a little bit more difficult against Baltimore. Be a little more difficult against Buffalo. Nickelback's very important. But if D'Amico's excited about this is the right matchup and the right game for him to be able to get that done. So we'll see how that is. That's thought number two. Thought number three. Let's get to a couple of the comments real quick. SSG says, I'll be in section 113. Let's link up before the game and hotbox the stadium. Hey, holla at me. At Landry Locker on Twitter. You know I'm here. Let me know. I'll be there. So will Cody. Cody will come say hi. We've gone and met people before. We are men of the people. We are very fan friendly. We are you. We enjoy, we like our broadcast careers, dedicate our life to it, but we understand the fan. We support the fan. We get the fan. We love the games. It's the best time of the year. Tay says, everyone keeps comparing Herbert to CJ and saying it as if those two will be on the field at the same time. What's wrong with that? The quarterback, it's all about the quarterback. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be on the field at the same time, but the quarterback matchup is often what separates things. You want to have the better quarterback matchup. Whoever plays better between CJ Stroud and Justin Herbert is going to most likely win the game. So I don't think it's that way. I think that it's very, 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 very important to compare the quarterbacks. Shout out to all the Charger fans in the chat as well. You guys are very, very, very confident. Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Thought 3, and this could end up being an interesting factor. Johnston's banged up for the Chargers. There's a couple of injuries there. And I know this guy is frustrating for Chargers fans at times. I know that I've seen a lot of Texans fans, not just one, say, well, he's mid. He is a vertical threat. And despite the fact he has the possibility of having 2 catches for 9 yards, he also has the possibility of having like 7 catches for 130. He's a high upside guy. The ceiling, the floor is low, but the ceiling's pretty high too. And it would be a huge break for the Texans if Palmer and Johnson are banged up and they can just focus on the honky. McConkey the honky wide receiver who's getting a hell of a lot of love.
Race car!
And he does have that deceptive speed, and he is faster than he looks. But a banged up Johnson is something to keep an eye on. Is he going to go out there and actually be able to play? Is he going to be inactive? Is he going to be active and unable to go? It's something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's anything to browse over. He is the 3rd most high upside receiver in this contest, regardless of how you feel about him or what you think about him. It's Nico Collins, it's the honky, and it's Quentin Johnston. And especially if he's out there with McConkey. So we'll see how that goes. Thought 4. Slowick's weird display at the podium this year. I thought it was really, really weird. The way that Bobby Slowick spoke this week at the podium. Thought it was weird. He said that this offense is explosive. He said that they've established an identity. And then he couldn't really say what exactly that identity was. I listened to Bobby Slowick. Talk. And sometimes I just wonder, is he lying or is he really this clueless? That's what's really confusing for me. Because I expect coaches to lie to me. Shout out to Sideline Sarah. She says he wants a job. She says the Jets are watching. Jets ain't hiring Bobby Slowick. We all know that. That ain't happening. I think they just wanted to cover all bases. They wanted to hire a pale guy. I think he's like their pale quota. Bobby Slowick. He's not getting hired. No one's hiring him as the head coach. I think Josh McCown's got a better chance of getting that gig than him. But when I hear Bobby Slowick talk, like I know D'Amico's not going to be completely honest with us. It doesn't matter. I don't blame him. Bobby Slowick's not going to be completely honest. But sometimes when I hear him talk, I'm just like, do you think we have eyes? Like when you say we were really, 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 really good at explosives, do you really believe that? When you say the offensive line has been solid, do you really believe that? That's just kind of a little bit confusing for me. Confuses the hell out of me with Bobby. Can't get it right. I like Bobby. I know Bobby doesn't have a full deck to work with.
Damn it, Bobby.
But some of the stuff he says is just crazy. We'll know about Johnston this weekend. Thought 5. There's a lot of love for McConkey. Maybe I said it right the first time. But he's getting a lot of love. Nick Caserio loved up on him. D'Amico Ryans has loved up on him. His former teammate Kamari Lassiter has loved up on him. There's a lot of hype for this guy. And we're talking about a guy who was just drafted in the second round of the draft. And he's getting a lot of respect. Now, with that said, he's their best receiver. You're going to face teams with way more depth at receiver to where it's going to be more difficult to take one guy out. I think the status of Johnston can be connected to this. I don't know that McConkey is someone that warrants Stingley following him. He's kind of a slot guy. I don't know if you want to stick Stingley in the slot, but he is someone to keep an eye on for sure. The Kenyon Green gaslighting is another example of the Bobby Slowick thing. I think that's interesting. Jacob on the soup, swarming to the soups. Shout out to Jacob.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm.
I don't believe the locker room will become an off-season show next week. The defense will punish the Chargers this week. 21-13 Texans. Damn it, Bobby. It's still damn it, Bobby, even if they win. Is that what we're doing?
Damn it, Bobby.
All right. No result would surprise me. This is the same thing that I said about the Titans. No result would surprise me with this squad, with this game. I mean, I don't anticipate either one of these teams blowing out the other. I think if that happens, then one of the quarterbacks just completely wet the bed. That means that D'Amico got the best of Herbert, or CJ just had a really, really bad game. And whether it was the pressure, whatever, it got to them. Like these quarterbacks, for the most part, and I know that Herbert's been probably or he's definitely been more efficient than CJ this week. I don't see either one of these teams blowing out their opponent, especially with how these teams are and how good the defense is. But no result would surprise me at all. 35-10 Texans would be a little bit surprising, to be honest. That's kind of a wild score. But the McConkey love, that's thought 5. Thought 6, the rookie battles. There's a lot of interesting rookie battles here. You have McConkey, the honky, and Kamari Lassiter, both teammates at Georgia. You have Joe Alt and Blake Fisher, teammates at Notre Dame. They got their hands full. Fisher with Bosa or Mack and the rest of the guys. And then Alt with Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, Autry, Barnett. There's going to be a lot thrown his way. Kalen Bullock, who I think feels kind of disrespected. I saw Derek Stingley send a tweet defending Bullock, and then Bullock said he's going to let people know. He's going to be a factor. There's a lot of really, really good rookie talent. They haven't been in the playoffs before. So who knows what that looks like? That'll be something to keep an eye on too. But I mean, you're talking about rookie tackles going against veterans that have been there, done that. Will Anderson doing his thing. So it's tough. Like it's going to be a tough sledding for those young tackles. And then it could be rookie on rookie. I think he changed the pronunciation to Bullock. So, yeah. He changed the definition, or the pronunciation. So he's going with Bullock. Thought 7, the Harbaugh factor. Guy's a winner. Guy's an absolute winner. Last time he coached in this stadium, he was a national champion. This is his 5th NFL season. In 3 of the previous 4, he's been in the conference championship. He's never lost his first playoff game. Ever. Never happened. Hasn't gone down. So, there's that. D'Amico Ryans, really nothing to make you think that he can't hold his own. His defense always seems ready to go. his in-game management, we can nitpick certain things at certain times. It hasn't really stuck out. Anything to be too worried about. But there is a hardball factor. The guy wins. His teams are ready to go. He game plans his ass off. His coaches know what the hell to do. He's got Greg Roman, who's battle tested, going against Bobby Slowick. A lot of predictability has been shown on tape. I know Bobby always talks about, what we've shown on tape. I got to think that some of these nerds, some of these geeks that really crunch the tape going against Bobby Slowick, especially if they're at the level of like a Jim Harbaugh coaching staff, they got to see something from him.
Damn it, Bobby.
So that's something to keep an eye on. D'Amico's never beaten a Harbaugh as a head coach. I know that's just one guy. 0-3, though. 0-3 against John Harbaugh. Better talent on the other side. I get that. But 0-3. Never beaten a Harbaugh. Thought 8. The kicking battle. Might roll our eyes at this. But, yeah, CJ Stroud, too. He's never beaten a Harbaugh. He's 0-2. Combined 0-5. Could we interest you in a stat? Harbaugh's had his success against CJ. You can add that to the Harbaugh factor, too. Anything to make of that? Don't know. John Harbaugh's had success against CJ, too. You combine those stats. The Harbaughs against CJ. Maybe they know something. Maybe they just have better players. The kicking battle. Miami Fairbairn started this season off so great. There's been little hints of perhaps some chinks in the armor. Missed a couple extra points. Missed a couple chippies. But you feel pretty good about Fairbairn. Dicker the kicker. Cameron Dicker's had a hell of a year. Really, really good year. So could the kicking battle come into play? Something to keep an eye on. They kind of kick off a little bit interesting, too. I know Dicker likes to do some goofy stuff with the kickoff every once in a while. I saw the Texans practicing that this week. So let's keep an eye on that. Damian Pierce might have some opportunities to return kicks. But there was some practice going on there for sure. Kicker battle, though. We've met our kicking quota for maybe the month. Thought 9. The Mixon promise. Joe Mixon, that big mix energy. He promises he's going to do every damn thing he can for this team not to lose. Now, are there going to be holes for him to run through? I don't know. Don't know if you can count on consistent run blocking from Joe Mixon. I would personally love to see Joe Mixon more involved in the pass game. I saw at BetUS, his over-under on receptions is 3.5, and it's plus money. I took the over just because I'm sick of watching Joe Mixon not be involved in the pass game. There's been times where the first play of the game, they've lined him up on the outside. He's ran a slant. He dropped it. Seemed like they tried to get him involved in the pass game early against Miami. I would like to see this be something that they do throughout the game. He's a really good receiver out of the backfield. You're limited at wide receiver, and every time he touches the ball, good things seem to happen, and there seems to be some sort of contagious energy that happens when Joe Mixon touches the rock. It also doesn't feel like there's dump-off options for CJ Stroud. It feels like it's all or nothing. I thought that was part of this system where there was like dump-off options. That was one of the first things D'Amico was talking about at his press conference. Like, we wanted to get it to our guys in space. Give our quarterback options. This doesn't seem like there's a lot of dump-off options. But come on. Like, get Mixon involved in the damn pass game. Seriously.
Damn it, Bobby.
Get him involved. What's so hard about this? Now, it is kind of troubling when Bobby Slowick tries to run screens. God, especially wide receiver screen. How many Robert Woods wide receiver screens do y'all want to see this week? How many Robert Woods wide receiver screens do you want to see? We might see a couple. They can't quit him. How many of those do we want to see? 0 is the right answer. And here's my fear with the Robert Woods thing. Here's my fear with the Robert Woods thing. We've seen him fumble twice in recent weeks. There was the one that Blake Fisher recovered a few weeks ago, and then there was the one the other day. They're going to have him back returning punts. I'm knocking on wood. I'm just saying. There have been some fumbles from Robert Woods. There's a little too much trust with Robert Woods, too. Let's get that out of the damn playbook. If you want to throw Deontay Johnson a screen, we obviously know that Nico's there. Get the ball to Deontay Johnson in space and let's see what happens. We don't need the ghost of Robert Woods running screens anymore. If I never see that again, I will have lived a happy life. I'm going to live a happy life regardless because we're doing what we love to do. But let's quit with the screens to Robert Woods. Let's stop that, okay? He's given you all the context clues that it's this close to disaster. One fumble can end your season. If Deontay Johnson can't learn the play, he can learn that screenplay. I promise you. It doesn't look like it takes too much. I think I drew up better screens at recess in 3rd grade than what Bobby Slowick draws up. So let's not do the Robert Woods screen stuff. Let's get Deontay involved. How many jet sweeps? There's no jet sweeps anymore, right? Oh, he's going to try to run one with Deontay, isn't he? Bobby Slowick's not going to be able to help himself. He's going to run a jet sweep with Deontay Johnson, isn't he? He's going to do it, isn't he? Always scared Robert Woods is going to throw a hip out. Man, once you start getting in them late 30s, tell you, man, gets a little tight. Yeah, get Joe Mixon going. Get the Robert Woods. Rip that out. Rip that play out. We're good on that. And thought 10. The fan vibe. I think it's an interesting fan vibe right now. I know that not all there's optimism, there's some pessimism, there's some in between. But there does seem to be a little bit of apathy with this matchup. A large chunk. Not everybody. I know there's some people that are optimistic, but there does seem to be a little bit of apathy for this game. Not sure why. Maybe it's just because it's familiar territory. Maybe you feel like the goals that have been laid out can be accomplished. Just anticipating one and done, a little bit more of the same. I get it. But I also think this could be I don't need to see the Mechie screen either. I'd almost rather see the Wood screen than the Mechie screen, if I'm being honest with you. Well, I think this is going to be a good vibe. I think it's going to be fun. I think the front 7 is what you hang your hat on. The front 7. Front 7 could make it very hard for Justin Herbert. Especially the linebackers, the blitzes, when you rush 4. I think that's what's going to be the straw that stirs the drink. It feels like Friday, but it's not. I know we're used to the Sundays, and then you have the day in between. Normally on the Saturday, we don't go live. We're going to go live on SNL. We're going to be live on the chat tomorrow. You got to give me some time, though, after a Texas game. You're talking to a guy who, when Texas lost the game, I got shingles. True story. I got shingles, and I gave roommate at the time chicken pox. Crabtree caught that touchdown. True story. Woke up, had thrown up all over the floor. Is rough times, man. Long time ago, though. But it gets a little bit serious when Texas is playing. Where I was born, Austin. Parents met at UT. Been living that ish. 3 trips to the Rose Bowl in person. Section 24, row 39, seat 1. Shout out to Vince Young running in that corner of the end zone. My pops would leave Thanksgiving dinners to go to his house to watch the game because there are too many Aggies around at the house. Happens, man. So we're gonna have to get a game face. It's not that serious anymore. I can get over it. I'm not like overly confident, but it's a big thing. So it'll probably be closer to 1050. Should be fun though. I do like the Jaden Blue over receiving yards this week. I really, really do. Appreciate everyone for rolling through. Subscribe, like, right along. Did I miss any big storylines? That's my list. I'm always interested in y'all's list. Put that in the comments. And it's going to be fun. If you're at the game, let me know. Come by, say hi. And I'll talk to you manana. SNL am right here. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We're all in it together.
Try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.